A Clergyman's Daughter by George Orwell. A Clergyman's Daughter tells the story of Dorothy Hare, the daughter of a strict and financially struggling clergyman in a small English village. Dorothy's life of duty and devotion is abruptly disrupted when she suffers from amnesia and finds herself in London with no memory of her past. Throughout the novel, Dorothy experiences various hardships, including homelessness and working as a schoolteacher in a grim school. Through these experiences, Orwell explores themes of social injustice, the challenges of maintaining personal integrity in the face of adversity, and the search for meaning within oppressive societal structures. Eventually, Dorothy returns to her village, but she is changed, having gained a deeper understanding of herself and the complexities of life outside her former cloistered existence. Orwell's novel critiques the class system, the education system, and the church, using Dorothy's journey to illustrate the struggle for individual autonomy and dignity within a conformist society. Let's deep dive into the book. Dorothy's life in Knipe Hill. Dorothy Hare, the conscientious daughter of Reverend Charles Hare, leads a life filled with the duties of managing their dilapidated rectory, attending to church affairs, and teaching at the Sunday school in the small Suffolk town of Knipe Hill. Her life is one of rigorous routine and self-denial, overshadowed by her father's neglect and the constant pressure of their financial woes. Dorothy's existence is mundane and monotonous, yet she is deeply committed to her father and her roles in the church and community. The incident with Warburton. Mr. Warburton, a wealthy and cynical neighbor, makes advances towards Dorothy, which she rebuffs. Despite her rejection, Warburton's proposition and his questioning of her faith and lifestyle lead Dorothy to introspection about her own beliefs and the life she leads. This incident unsettles Dorothy, causing her to question the foundation of her existence and her devotion to a life of duty that offers little in the way of personal happiness or fulfillment. The onset of amnesia. Dorothy unexpectedly suffers from amnesia, finding herself in London with no memory of who she is or how she arrived there. This sudden disconnection from her past life thrusts her into a bewildering and precarious situation. Stripped of her identity, Dorothy must navigate the harsh realities of life on the streets, confronting the challenges faced by the impoverished and the homeless in the city. Life on the streets. As she grapples with her loss of memory, Dorothy experiences the stark realities of poverty and destitution in London. She encounters a diverse group of individuals living on the margins of society, including beggars, buskers, and the unemployed. These experiences expose her to the depths of human suffering and resilience, starkly contrasting her sheltered life in Knipe Hill. The hop-picking adventure. Dorothy falls in with a group of hop-pickers in Kent, where she works in the fields. This chapter of her life offers a glimpse into the communal existence of the working poor, highlighting both the camaraderie and the hardships they face. Despite the physical toll and the initial culture shock, Dorothy finds a sense of liberation and simplicity in the work, which starkly contrasts with her previous existence. Return of memory and return to teaching. Dorothy's memory gradually returns, and with it, the realization of her identity and the life she left behind. Despite the potential for freedom from her former life, a sense of duty compels her to return to teaching. She takes a position at a grim, underfunded school run by Mrs. Creevey, a miserly and unprincipled woman. Here, Dorothy confronts the realities of a flawed educational system that stifles both teachers and pupils. Life in Trafalgar House. At Trafalgar House, Dorothy endures long hours, poor conditions, and the relentless drudgery of teaching a curriculum that neither inspires nor educates. Her struggles are compounded by Mrs. Creevey's exploitation and the indifference of society to the plight of the poor. Through this experience, Dorothy gains insight into the institutional barriers that perpetuate ignorance and poverty. The school play. Seeking to bring some joy and creativity into her students' lives, Dorothy organizes a school play, which becomes a rare moment of happiness and achievement for both teacher and pupils. The success of the play, however brief, illustrates Dorothy's impact on her students and her capacity to inspire hope and enthusiasm despite the bleakness of their circumstances. Return to Knipe Hill. Dorothy is eventually found by her father's curate, Mr. Prosser, who informs her that her father has suffered a stroke. Feeling an obligation to return and care for him, Dorothy leaves London and the school behind. Back in Knipe Hill, she resumes her life of duty, but with a new awareness of the world beyond her father's parish. Reflection and resolution. Back in the familiar yet now alien environment of Knipe Hill, Dorothy reflects on her experiences. While she resumes her duties, the contrast between her adventures and her current life leads her to ponder the nature of faith, duty, and personal fulfillment. The novel concludes with Dorothy accepting her lot, yet the reader is left to wonder about the potential for change in her life. Through Dorothy's journey, Orwell explores the possibility of personal growth and transformation amidst the constraints of social expectations and personal duty. Let's explore together the main themes and concepts of the book. Social class and inequality. A Clergyman's Daughter delves into the rigid structures of social class and the profound inequalities that pervade British society. Through Dorothy's journey from the rectory of a small village to the streets of London and a hop-picking farm, Orwell exposes the stark contrast between the lives of the privileged and the impoverished. The novel criticizes the social system that perpetuates these disparities, highlighting the lack of opportunity and the desperation faced by the lower classes, while questioning the moral and ethical foundations of a society that allows such inequality to exist. Faith and doubt. Orwell explores themes of faith and doubt through the character of Dorothy, who is deeply religious yet faces challenges that test her beliefs. Her sudden amnesia and the subsequent loss of her identity thrust her into situations where her faith provides neither solace nor answers, leading her to question the role of religion in her life and in society at large. The novel presents a nuanced view of faith, suggesting that true belief is complex and personal, and often comes into conflict with the institutional demands and hypocrisies of organized religion. Identity and self-discovery. The theme of identity and self-discovery is central to the novel, as Dorothy navigates through various experiences that challenge her understanding of herself. Her journey from a sheltered existence as a clergyman's daughter to a life among the destitute and the working poor forces her to confront and reassess her values, beliefs, and aspirations. Through these experiences, Orwell suggests that identity is not fixed, but is instead shaped by our experiences and interactions, and that true self-discovery often comes through adversity and challenge. Power and authority. Orwell critiques the dynamics of power and authority within various institutions, including the church, the educational system, and society at large. Through the experiences of Dorothy and other characters, the novel reveals how power is often wielded to oppress and control, rather than to uplift and enlighten. The portrayal of authority figures, such as Dorothy's father and Mrs. Creevey, highlights the abuse of power and the impact it has on individuals and communities. The novel suggests a deep skepticism towards the institutions that claim to provide moral and social guidance. The nature of duty. Duty is a recurring theme in A Clergyman's Daughter, explored through Dorothy's sense of obligation to her father, her church, and her students. The novel questions the value of duty when it comes at the expense of personal happiness and fulfillment. Dorothy's unwavering commitment to her perceived duties traps her in a life of self-denial and servitude, suggesting a critique of societal expectations that prioritize duty over individual desires and well-being. Orwell's exploration of duty reflects broader questions about the roles individuals are expected to play within their families, communities, and society. Let's talk about the author. George Orwell, born Eric Arthur Blair on June 25, 1903, in Motihari, India, was a British novelist, essayist, journalist, and critic renowned for his lucid prose. outspoken support of democratic socialism, and firm opposition to totalitarianism. Orwell's work is characterized by his powerful social commentary and the exploration of themes such as poverty, political oppression, and the abuse of power. His experiences in the Spanish Civil War, as well as his observations of the socio-political landscape of his time, deeply influenced his two most famous works, Animal Farm and 1984, which remain profoundly influential critiques of political extremism and dystopian futures. Orwell died on January 21, 1950, in London, leaving behind a legacy as one of the 20th century's most important and insightful writers on the subject of power and its impact on human freedom and society. Sincere thanks for watching. If you found this summary helpful, consider taking a moment to hit the subscribe button, like or share the video. If you have any feedbacks or book requests, make sure to leave a comment. Regardless, I wish you a great day.